Hi, and thanks for joining me today. I'm here with Carrington Carter and Calvin Butts of Getaway Society, a Black-owned luxury vacation rental company. Yes, I am so excited to talk to you today. So tell me about yourselves and how you met and how the Getaway Society came about.
Sure. So I'll start a little bit about kind of how we met and a little bit of background about myself, and I'll let Carrington give you the story that kind of created Getaway Society and why we focus on the luxury vacation rental home experience for our customers. I'm Calvin Butts, originally from Savannah, Georgia. I live in New Jersey. I went to Hampton University as well as Carrington, and we met via the Alumni Association. Ended up chatting and getting to know each other, sharing our passion for real estate. We were both in similar positions with about 4 or 5 single family homes that we were managing ourselves, and we were talking about kind of the future of real estate and kind of what types of real estate we'd like to own. And we just had an awakening and pivoted into the luxury home space. And there's some background to that story that Carrington can share. But we both are proud Hampton grads, and we connected at a homecoming back in 2012, 2013, and had a business plan. And I was excited to invest in, at the time, Carrington's company, which is the parent company of Getaway Society, and became a managing partner. And we've been off to the races ever since, and have evolved into several other new ventures, and things are going extremely well.
Awesome. So tell me, what steps did you guys take to get started? Carrington, I know it was your company, so what brought this about? I know you guys took an annual friends trip to the Poconos, and that sort of got the ball rolling. So tell me what steps you took to buy Getaway Society's first home.
Yeah. So as Calvin mentioned, we're both kind of dabbling in real estate, and then we're looking for, kind of what to do next. And myself and a group of Hamptonians, we would go skiing in the Poconos every year on President's Day weekend. And I think it was the 4th consecutive ski trip. It came time for me to plan the trip. So I worked with the owner, I selected the house, collected everyone's money. And then when I realized we were paying him $3,500 to stay in his house over President's Day weekend, I started running the numbers. And that's kind of when I discovered the financial viability of the vacation rental home industry. So this is back in 2011, 2012. So Airbnb was popular, HomeAway was popular, Vrbo was popular, but certainly not as popular as they are now. Now these are household names, and I think 1 in 3 U.S. travelers have rented a vacation home, but there's still quite a few people who haven't. So we saw the trend, we saw the future of travel. We saw people, desiring more group travel, whether it's, fraternity brothers, sorority sisters, immediate family, extended family, multiple couples going in to share a house together. We saw that as the future of travel. So what started as, a house that we built from the ground up in the Poconos, a 6-family, 3-bath, 2,800 square foot in the Poconos, quickly expanded to Martha's Vineyard, and now we're in Hilton Head, Gatlinburg, Orlando, and we're having fun, doing it as well, which is very important.
Super important. Are either one of you guys in a fraternity?
Yes, we both are. I'm an Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a member of Sigma Pi Phi, the Boule.
Okay, I'm a Delta Sigma Theta member myself.
Okay, all right. Wonderful.
What was the time frame that you guys that you said, okay, this is what we want to do, to owning your first home?
Calvin and I are, as Calvin likes to call it, we're doers. Once we see something and we want to move on it, we're action oriented. So many of us, get stuck in analysis paralysis. And I was actually reading an article today, Jeff Bezos, I think one of the principles he lives by is you make a decision based on 70% of the information, and you have to get comfortable with that uncertainty, because by the time you have 100% and you're completely comfortable, it's too late. You missed a deal, you missed an opportunity. So with this particular house in the Poconos, we initially tried to buy a house that was already built, and the builder changed his mind and didn't want to sell it. He said, but I'll build you one. So that's where we said, okay, well, that's the next best thing. There's some additional challenges and sometimes construction delays and extra cost that comes in building something from the ground up. But again, we saw the potential, not just in the Poconos market, but in the vacation rental home space. So we jumped in. So I would say that the time between once we decided we were going to do it versus when we actually did it, I don't know, maybe 3 months. And literally that delay was just because the builder changed his mind and didn't want to sell the house anymore. So then we had to build from the ground up.
Wow, that's incredible.
On the Vineyard, Calvin, you want to talk about how quickly we acted on the Vineyard?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, that probably was a little faster. So yeah, my Vineyard experience, and actually, I'm not sure you've ever been.
I have actually.
Okay, great. Yeah, so we look forward to hosting your next trip, though. You got to come stay with us.
Next summer, I'm looking you guys up first, seriously.
There you go. Yeah, so our Vineyard experience, interested, I was actually in Boston for the Grand Boulay Conference back in 2014. And all these guys were talking about going to the Vineyard for August. And, growing up in Savannah, Georgia, being a Hilton Head person or being a, Tybee Island or Jacksonville, I wasn't familiar with, the excitement of the Vineyard. I obviously knew of it, knew the history was strong, and knew that it was an enclave for African Americans. But I did not understand that so many people were really going to be there in August. And so a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you come stay with me one night? And, just we'll have dinner and you get to hang out. I'll run you up and down Circuit Ave and we'll go from there. And I remember asking my wife if I could make the trip because she was 9 months pregnant with our son.
Oh, wow.
And so she was like, you have one night. And so I got there. I remember flying out of JFK and even on the plane, I think there were folks like the president of Morehouse and some other folks. And I just was like fascinated with the folks who I recognized or who I knew of that were on this flight. And when I landed, it just multiplied, right? I'm like, oh, there's the preacher from this church, or there's Dr. So-and-so. And I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And then at night over dinner, I'm getting the scoop on the rental market. And the guy's telling me, oh yeah, we paid X for this house for the week. So I'm texting Carrington like, we need to talk. We need to talk tonight. So just that quick, we ended up reaching out to a couple realtors. One of them got back to us. I extended my trip one more night and we went and toured 4 properties. And we moved on, I think the third house that she took us to, we moved on that one fairly quick and we closed on that, a few weeks later. So I mean, we had an offer in immediately and it was accepted. And then we moved and closed as soon as we could, which was like December 1st. So, that shows you an example of, moving quick and, being excited and being confident, once we understood it and, did some on the ground research. And so we're really excited about that purchase. And I mean, as you can imagine, you've seen the portfolio, we've doubled down and now we're on the Vineyard ×3 via our another venture, which is our private equity firm that owns a home in the East Chop, Oak Bluffs area as well.
That was actually going to be my next question. Well, firstly, I want to say that I understand the magic of Martha's Vineyard. My first time there, the Obamas were there as well. Like the island was like in a tizzy, but it was amazing. Like I fell in love with it immediately. So I definitely understand like wanting to get into that market because that's some place that people go every year, Yep. But bringing me back to my last question, how did you go from like the vacation rental homes to this private equity company that you guys have?
Yeah, so the way we got started with that was, we were trying to buy more houses. I mean, we saw the demand and, we just couldn't buy houses fast enough. I mean, Carrington and I were putting up a lot of the cash, for our personal homes. We were buying them for our families. We were buying homes as fast as we could. And a lot of friends who were watching were saying, hey, how do I get involved with you guys? How can I support you guys? And so we just said, okay, what's the most, sophisticated, but yet easiest way for us to do this? And, really make it make sense and bring folks along on this vacation rental home ownership utilization journey. And that's when we got into private equity. Our first venture, our first fund is focused on the vacation rental home acquisition market and is titled as such, the Vacation Rental Home Acquisition Fund. And we're buying homes. We're buying homes in top destinations that, Carrington and I either already currently own homes or that we visited or that we've done the research on. I mean, there's a list of the top 10 places that folks vacation. So we feel confident that, these places will continue to be, strong performers. So in that fund, our strategy is to buy homes, manage them for about 7-8 years, and then sell the portfolio of homes. And ideally, we hope to sell them to our investors, who will have the confidence that they're strong performers, and they know that they can manage them if they choose to utilize and rent them out, that they can do so in a financially positive manner. So we're excited about the fund that we have, and it's going pretty well. Carrington mentioned some of the new locations where we're purchasing homes: Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Orlando, Florida. The fund currently has 2 houses in the portfolio. I mentioned Martha's Vineyard as well as Hilton Head. So, and we expect to grow that, probably 2 more additional homes this year. We've raised a significant amount of money from investors, and that is off to a great start. And our next fund may be even a larger fund. And we've got some other ways to kind of disrupt and engage the real estate game.
Well, firstly, I want to say it sounds like you guys are having fun doing this. And it also seems like it's not just about owning homes and making money for you. Am I right to say that? Like, it seems like there's a bigger purpose here.
Yeah, no, these type of assets are, they can be utilized so many ways, right? You see the hashtag going around, making memories, folks, traveling with their families, their loved ones, their colleagues, their clients, their friends. And these assets allow us to do that. We're in a work from anywhere environment. We're in a school from anywhere environment right now. And I've been able to travel with my family to the Vineyard, to Hilton Head for weeks at a time, and, really enjoy that. We've had folks come down and work, from the houses with us, and have their kids come in school from anywhere with us in this virtual environment. But then, they're what they are. They're beautiful properties in these amazing locations. And, folks are always interested or eager to take a trip or go on a vacation. And to be able to offer that to clients, colleagues, and friends has really been priceless for us. And we've, Carrington and I talk about value, right? And redefining value. Yes, the cash flow is great, but, sometimes, it's the experience and being able to leverage them for friends and for the, folks in the community. And
I'll add to that, and Calvin and I are really big on building wealth, economic empowerment, and closing the wealth gap. That's the reason why we got involved in real estate, and that's the reason why, we're continuing to double down and triple down into real estate. And we're very passionate about that. And these conversations need to happen a lot more in the African American community.
Right.
As it relates to East Job Capital, we say our commitment is to provide the best combined financial, educational, and social returns. So to your point, it's bigger than vacation rentals. It's bigger than travel. The numbers, are there, the hard ROI, the soft ROI, the dividends. But we're also very passionate about, educating our peers, our investors, our friends, family, colleagues, and educating about real estate, about the vacation rental space, about generating multiple revenue streams, about generating wealth. And then the social returns, we're very big on, putting people together, creating our own rooms, as Calvin will say it, and building those relationships and those bonds so that people can, grow their network and do other deals together. There's enough out there. There's enough out there. There's certainly enough out there for that we can all win and we can all prosper.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are into teaching people, because I'm going to talk to you guys after this is over so you can help me out. I own a home but want to get another vacation home, so maybe that's something I can chat with you guys about.
Absolutely.
Sure.
How do you guys decorate the homes? Like, they're so beautiful on the inside. That you hire decorators? Like, what do you do?
No, that's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked, right? Because we'd be remiss if we didn't give all due credit to our wives. They handle 99.9% of everything we touch. Carrington and I may pick out a grill or a fire pit every now and then, but the homes are totally decorated by Kia and April. April's my wife. Kia is the wife of Carrington, and they do an outstanding job. From start to finish. We've had support in the early days from our realtor who did some interior design from us, but since then the wives have been involved, and they get started as soon as we close on the house. They jump right in and are, involved in a lot of the process with the homes. But certainly the interior design and the furniture selection and the layout when we're doing construction and things like that. We haven't made a move without their guidance, and it's been a win-win for us for sure.
Wow, it's truly a family business. That's amazing.
We also went to Hampton as well.
Oh, I'm not going to say anything about the real HU, but
there's only one.
I went to GW, so I spent a lot of my time at Howard Homecomings over the years. Yeah. Is there anything you would have done differently on your journey so far?
Oh wow! I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, I wish I could just go faster. My son's into Sonic. I wish I had some Sonic rings. Like, I wish I could move it at like warp speed. But we've done really well. I mean, I can't complain about where we are. The amount of wealth we've amassed and the equity that's in some of our homes is just, it's been outstanding, and we're able to leverage those. We've got some outstanding bank relationships. We've got some outstanding relationships with our partners in the field who manage our homes, the vendors who service our homes, from the pool cleaning companies to the landscapers. We believe we're really cultivating a community in each of our locations. So, I just wish I could do more of it. If I could change something, I would have more capital and maybe have, invited investors on this journey, sooner. But we're in a good place and have a great pace right now. And, and we're on track to really make an impact in a lot of the communities where we have homes.
Yeah, and I would say, wish I started sooner. So, I bought my first house, first investment property in 2012, August 2012. Certainly in the Great Recession, during the Great Recession, but if I had started even earlier, certainly would have been a lot more opportunity to buy undervalued assets in a lot of them. So start sooner. I guess that would be the only thing, the only regret, so to speak. And then, sometimes I wonder if we're not going for the fences, if we're not swinging hard enough, because I really don't think we failed yet. And then so I'm wondering if we're not, really pushing the envelope enough, or maybe we've just been strategic about it. We made the right calculated risk. We, contingency planned. We formed partnerships. So maybe we did enough of that so that we really haven't failed yet. But so that would be the only thing. Start earlier, and maybe because we haven't fallen flat on our faces yet, maybe we haven't gone hard enough. So that would be the only thing.
So, do you guys have a background in real estate, or are you self-taught? Like, how did you know which moves to make and when and how to make them?
So, a lot of it's self-taught. We just, we're, knew real estate was important, right? You see it in shows, you listen to it in music, so the inspiration's out there, and I think we just jumped in it. A lot of times, I think we have folks who are doers and who have the things that we inspire to have, who are right around the corner from us, and a lot of them are in our faces often, and yet we don't listen to our peers, and we're scared to ask questions. And I think that's something that just doesn't exist between Carrington and I. We are just as much learners as we are doers, right? and we're still learning from our mentors and from folks who have a lot more than us, because we aspire to catch up with them and surpass them. And I think we're open to learning and listening. So, I think that's just a big thing that we have to do more of. My background was in management information systems. I spent a lot of time, both of us, in the pharmaceutical healthcare industry. Carrington as a brand manager and executive at some of the big pharma companies, me as an entrepreneur, owning, several companies in the interactive media space and medical education. But real estate was always a way for us to, utilize revenues and maximize, some of the bonuses, the corporate income that we had, and kind of what we call turn fast money into slow money. Slow it down and make it long and make it last. And I think, that's worked very well for us.
Yeah, you guys are speaking my language. I love to talk about money. So you mentioned how your goal is to sell the portfolio in maybe 7 to 8 years. What's Getaway Society doing after that, or is there anything after that? Do you guys have talk about your
Well, Getaway Society will still own homes and still manage homes, right? I mean, Carrington and I have personal homes that we own. Him and I have homes that we own together that are also managed by Getaway Society. And our vision for Getaway Society will be a boutique, but a firm that manages 20 to 50 homes, maybe 100, and they'll be owned by us or by folks in our network. But right now, the homes that are in and under Getaway Society are owned by Carrington and I, are the fund. And, we hope to grow that brand. I mean, that brand now, if you look at some of the reviews in our houses, it's synonymous with a true luxury travel experience, right? From check-in to check-out. And we've given folks options to stay within a network. One of the things we all like about our Marriott Club or our Sonesta Club, et cetera, is that they've got multiple properties and great locations, and it's a consistent experience. And so we strive for the same thing as, really what I think could be claimed the largest Black-owned luxury private home portfolio. We're excited to offer those high-end services across the homes that we manage.
And switching gears a little bit, if you choose a place to go as your your favorite, or someplace you haven't been but have been dying to go, where would that be?
That's a good question. So Carrington says I don't branch out enough, right? So I go back and forth between the Vineyard and Hilton Head like clockwork, right? If I could leave one place and land in another, those are probably two places I'll go back and forth with an occasional stop in Hampton to watch a football game. But we've talked a lot about some international stuff. Carrington and I have some land in Belize that we're excited to develop sooner or later. There's some other exciting places that are on our radar. I think we're traveling to Destin this month to hopefully make an acquisition down there. Carrington is extremely excited about Tennessee, so I'll let him tell you about that. But I would say for me, being on the Vineyard and being in Hilton Head, I like to play golf. So wherever I can play great golf and relax is probably going to be top priority for me.
Nothing wrong with that. You know what you like.
Yeah, I would say as far as domestic places that I've been and that I really enjoy, Vineyard, really like the magic of the Vineyard as well. But I would say lately, the mountains kind of do it for me. I think earlier on in my life, did a lot of beaches and things like that. But I really think the mountains and just kind of the peace and the serenity. So Gatlinburg, getting ready to close on a house in Gatlinburg Thursday. Going down to Gatlinburg Thursday to close on a house, and looking at a couple other properties there as well. And it's a competitive market, a lot of bidders out there right now that are beating us to the punch. But we got one, and hopefully we'll get a couple more. But the mountains, have been doing it for me lately. And on an international standpoint, I'd say Costa Rica. Really like Costa Rica. When I was there last year, 2 years ago, and my wife is Bayesian. Her parents are from Barbados, so they live there now, and we go there at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. So certainly developing an affinity and a love for that island as well.
Nice. I think the next move should be somewhere on the continent, maybe South Africa, Ghana.
Yep.
Out there.
Yep, definitely. Actually, Jeremiah Myers, one of the other founders of Getaway Society, he spent a lot of time in Africa, spent a lot of time in South Africa, and I was hoping to get down there this year to visit and check it out down there, but due to COVID-19, wife won't let me get on an airplane just yet, so I'm gonna have to postpone that trip for the future.
Yeah, it'll still be there. It'll still be amazing. So I'm gonna hold you guys to that one.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite cocktail? I know you have that Scotch. What is it? A Scotch basement?
Scotch Bourbon Vault. Yeah, Scotch Bourbon Vault on the Vineyard. East Chop Cellar is the handle on IG, and you can see the bourbon and Scotch collection there. So I'm probably if it's early in the day, I'm just a bourbon neat. But if I'm like a nice nightcap, an old fashioned, a Manhattan, always do the trick. for me. But yeah, I'm a huge bourbon guy, and have quite a collection.
What's your favorite?
I would say right now, domestic, I would say Michter's, Uncle Nearest. I would say, different varieties, right? I mean, obviously like sour mash, some of the toasted barrel stuff. I'm very kind of particular about the different types of bourbons and whiskeys. So I would say that's probably my go-to. Scotch-wise, I'm a Macallan connoisseur. I'm a collector. I go to a lot of their private events. I spend a lot of time with some of their U.S. representatives, and a big collector of their special edition series and so on and so forth. So I would say Scotch-wise, Macallan.
Nice. What about you, Carrington?
I haven't, I think I've been, just kind of head down, growing the businesses and focus on that for the longest. So haven't developed a new love for a taste. I mean, it's pretty much vodka in my 20s, and then do a little scotch every now and then. I like beer. I'm actually a beer guy, amber ales to be specific. And would love to. I know there's a lot more, Black-owned breweries and things like that are popping up. Some of them owned by some Hamptonians, but would really like to eventually kind of get on that scene and get involved in Black-owned beer, possibly as an investor, likely as an investor, just because everything going on. Certainly don't have time to grow another business, but so yeah, I'm a beer guy. I'm a beer guy.
Nice. Is there anything that you do as businessmen that you feel like contribute to your success? Daily, monthly? Are there books you have read or want to read? I'd be really interested to know.
Yeah, well, I know Carrington's. I mean, he's a huge reader. He sends me pictures of pages of books probably on a weekly basis of some outsert or some comment that is relative to us and kind of what we're going through in our current journey. For me, I'm more of I like some of the old stuff. Like I'm passionate about the Gilded Age and, kind of the men who quote unquote built America, and, some of the folks back in the old days with railroad, steel, and, shipping and things like that. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from history. So I find myself, kind of studying those time periods and, everything from the way they lived, the homes they purchased, so on and so forth. That's probably where my leisure reading comes in. But I mean, certainly I think we both have some great mentors, and obviously, and then we also learn from our investors. Some of our investors are leaders in different industries, and they've been, very, open and with their sharing of the things that are happening in their spaces, and have allowed us to adapt and learn from trends and innovation that's happening across the board, and that's really benefited us. But yeah, I would say that outside of that, I like reading short articles that are, and I'll say this though, but we found a lot of motivation from really just like memes sometimes from like Instagram. Carrington and I share a lot of stuff that relates to money and investing and the private equity space. There's a lot of quick snippets and handles that kind of give best practices or, motivational quotes. And, when you're raising capital or when you're running a business, you always need some form of motivation, right? Because there's always a challenge. There's always something that has to be addressed. And I think anytime you even get a little spark or something positive, you got to take it and run with it.
Yeah, I read a lot. As Calvin mentioned, I read a lot. Haven't read as much this year just because we're growing the portfolio, raising money, been pretty busy with that. But I'll say Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio has a book called Principles. The first part is about life principles, and the second part is work principles. So I would say that's probably been my favorite read over the last 2 years. He's got another one coming up about the changing world order, which talks about U.S. and China relations. But so I'll say Ray Dalio, really become a student of his. And there are tons more books that I've read, but that's the one that immediately comes to mind. So, yeah. And then one other thing I'll say, kind of just to touch on kind of what you talked about earlier. Calvin and I didn't have real estate backgrounds, certainly didn't have private equity backgrounds, but this is the information age. That's why I read a lot of books. There's books out there, there's resources, there's YouTube, anything you want to learn how to do. There's a master class Udemy. There's something out there to teach you how to do it. So there's really no excuse to learn, to grow, to professionally develop, even to pivot or change careers. Right. Again, this is the information age. All information is out there. So, sometimes we're our own worst enemy. Just go out there and jump into it and figure it out.
Totally. I love that. Because I think it's such a mindset thing. Like, you just have to want something and go after it. You can't wait for it to come to you. So thank you guys for sharing that. Where can people find you online?
So I am on Instagram at justbucb, JUSBUCB. And we're on our different handles for the homes are at Getaway Society on Facebook and Instagram. The website is www.getawaysociety.com. You can see all the homes on there. You can reach out to us if you want to book directly with us as well. Our homes are also on Vrbo and HomeAway and Airbnb. So there's ways to find us via those channels directly. And then East Chop Capital, it's just eastchopcapital.com if you want to learn more about Carrington and our background.
My Instagram at Carrington M. Carter, and then website carringtonmcarter.com. You can learn more about me, and then also some of the wealth strategy consulting services I offer, real estate consulting, and then vacation rental home consulting as well for those who may be interested in setting up their own vacation rental home, either portfolio or even just starting with one house or one condo.
Good to know. Well, it was so great to talk to you guys. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me. I shall be going on getawaysociety.com immediately and looking for my home next summer in Martha's Vineyard.
Love it. We'd love to have you.